Tiny BookShop is developed by Neoludic Games and published by Skystone, and I think it came out on the 7th across multiple platforms, but the one we're interested in is the Switch, and it's actually gone to the very top of the Nintendo eShop. Quite possibly one of the most chill games I've played in a long time, but also really addictive. I was keen to get this review out for you because, like me, you may have looked at it and, no offence intended, dismissed it as something perhaps you wouldn't enjoy, only to find once you get hands on with it that, man, this is quite compelling. Does Tiny BookShop deliver big, or is it sold out? Well, my name's Mark Walker, welcome back to SwitchUp, now let's find out. The storyline around Tiny BookShop sees the character leaving everything behind in their life, selling it all, and head towards a tranquil coastal town to open a bookshop in a trailer that they tow at the back of their car. As an opener for a cozy game, it certainly hits the right mark, but as far as an overarching narrative, that tends to be your interactions with regular customers who will repeat visit your shop, and they'll often give you tasks or ask for your help, like moving their furniture from one place to the other and meeting them on a specific day. You'll also keep a log of all the characters that you've interacted with and any tasks that you have outstanding for them. Gameplay, well, you've got a little bookshop. It's in a little trailer. You can customize the look of it, repaint its interior or exterior, make it look as gaudy as you want, and then head out to one of the locations in the quaint Booksbury by Sea. Initially, you've only got a few choices, and you won't have much of an idea as to what effect this has on the sales of your books. You'll have one shelf that you can stack full of books from the 7 different genres that you're presented. These are color-coded, and you'll quickly learn exactly which are which, but it's nice to see real-world books here, from literary classics to more modern ones. And actually, if you're well read, you're going to find the game a little bit easier. Don't worry, you don't have to know all the books because there's small blurbs attached to them, but you stack your shelves, as many as you've got, put different items in your shop to make it look nice, but those items also have an effect on the sales. For example, I got this creepy little baby and it improved my sale of, I believe it was thriller books, but slightly impacted in a negative way sales of another genre. Then you begin your first day sales. I love the way you have to manually open up shop. You can move the camera around the environment, and actually there's a bit of a hidden item thing going on as well. Sometimes the tasks you're given will be things like collecting shells or finding other secrets. And you can do that before you've even opened the shop up, but it's also a nice little distraction if you find your mind wandering. Once the shop's open, there aren't timers and gauges and to-do lists popping up. You simply have customers strolling around about and into your shop. Now, one critique I have here straight away is I would have loved to have dived into the interior view of the shop, like you actually can do when you customize, just because, I don't know, just felt more personal to be able to look at the customers while they're walking around the inside, even if they're not really doing anything. Still, that does happen when a customer has a specific request. These are given a timer, and if you press the X button, they then give you a clue as to what type of book it is they want to read. These are ranked in difficulty, and you have to look through your selection and try and work out what would work for them. What's nice is it's not as simple as just them telling you the genre and you picking out a book. The game allows you to pick something that matches their needs from a different genre, and in that way the more difficult choices are actually the most interesting ones to try and accommodate. Getting it right rewards you in a few different ways. Sometimes you can actually create almost a buzz about a certain genre. They'll leave happy, they may pick up other books as well, and it may even unlock new quests or tasks for you to complete. Now, if you fail miserably, like I have done on several occasions, they just leave in a bit of a huff. At the end of each day, you have to close up shop, you get a rundown of the different sales you've made, and you'll also need to replenish your books. You can go into the local newspaper, go on the marketplace and purchase boxes of random books. Some of them you know exactly what's inside, and others are a little bit more of a mystery. I think they are the first loot boxes that I've actually enjoyed, and there's a strange excitement when you see a sale on, or even sometimes a box of books that someone's giving away for free. Outside of your shop, there's also the main town map that, as I say, does expand as you progress through. These locations have an impact on sales, and you learn what areas sell certain books better. For example, down by the beach, I found that my kids' books were selling much better because obviously there were more children going to the beach with parents. While it would be a stretch to say it becomes strategic, it certainly makes you think a little more. It's also nice to build those relationships and unlock a little more information about the town and visit different areas. Your calendar will show you seasonal events taking place, and they can be a real money spinner. There are things like a weekly flea market that features loads of shops that you can purchase various items from, but the amount of sales you'll get on that day, just as in real life, you can make a week's worth of money in that one day if you plan correctly and make sure your shelves are stocked. It's strangely exciting selling out. It's also very cool as you peruse your shelves and just see books that you've read and you enjoy, and then recommending those to people in the game. It's difficult to articulate, but it's satisfying. Now, while time management is intrinsic to the gameplay, it's very relaxed. The days themselves are quite short. You never really feel under pressure. If you like slower paced experiences, you're definitely going to enjoy this. If, however, you're someone that likes to reach a target, for example, I was trying to save up for a coffee machine. It does take a while, and sometimes you'll just have bad days. So I'd go out to shop and there'd be rain on the forecast, which you can check, and I'd just get no sales. In fact, I might sometimes even lose money after a day. And when you're going for a target, yeah, it's just not a game that you can rush, not by design, and not really if you want to get the most out of it. Controls are straightforward. It's another where we would love to see a Switch 2 version have things like a mouse mode, but you move the cursor around with, I believe, the left stick and the whole screen with the right, panning it. And you can even move the cursor using the D-pad, which is a bit odd. It works okay. There are a few times where a mouse just would work so much better, especially when you're just trying to select small items within the world to see what will happen when you do it. The items that you get don't just improve your ability to sell. Sometimes they're usable and they'll activate quests or unlock certain tasks, like a typewriter that you get where you begin to write your own story. Thankfully, it's those tertiary activities that kept me interested. Within my notebook, I had a list of different tasks to do within each place that I visited, and you got stamps for going to different areas, sometimes being rewarded if you visited the same place multiple times. There are other events as well that are off calendar, like you'll be told about a shop opening near the cafe, or a grand opening that when you attend, sales are just much better. What makes the game so enjoyable, I think, is also its biggest weakness. I've alluded to it already, and it's the simplicity. There comes a point where you have done these actions so many times that what was once so enjoyable and relaxing has the potential to become a little monotonous. With that in mind, it's not really a game you'd sit and play 5 or 10 hours of. You play it in small chunks, and like that, it's really enjoyable. The intangible element is how compelling it is. It really is an addictive game to play. I've very much enjoyed myself, even if it does make a couple of missteps. Gameplay scores 17 out of 20. While the controls are fine, the lack of touchscreen support in a title like this is strange in my opinion. They score 14 out of 20. Visually tiny BookShop looks okay on Nintendo Switch. Of course, it's Switch 2 compatible as well. However, it is capped to 30 frames per second when you're moving about the environments, and then 60 when you're in the menus, which is a bit odd. Hopefully they can add in a toggle of some sort. It has a nice, if simplistic, art style, and I like the parallax effects, 3D effects they've used within environments as you move around. I really enjoy the animations of the customers as they come up to shop, and the way they leave as well, sometimes moving directly towards the camera or away into the distance. It makes it feel like a real place. The biggest visual issue for me is just that it doesn't let you see enough, as I said in the main section of the review. I want to look inside when the customers are moving about. You almost want to be a fly on the wall to see them happy and enjoying the bookstore. So looking from this zoomed out perspective, it's a disconnect that doesn't feel in keeping with the vibe of the game. Even being able to zoom just closer to it would have been nice. The game has a relaxing and tranquil soundtrack. It's not particularly standout, but it's not annoying. and it does actually have good use of HD rumble. When a customer has a specific request, the right joycon will rumble, letting you know you need to head back to the shop. I give visuals and performance 15 out of 20. Sound and audio also scores 15 out of 20. Tiny BookShop has a surprising amount of content. The town itself has loads of different areas to unlock. There are lots of side activities. Your notebook is filled with different things for you to gradually work on. And there is a constant sense of progression, both in terms of your own knowledge of the books that you have in stock, but also how best to sell them. You're looking at around 12 to 15 hours if you were really rushing through it, and maybe 20 to 25 to do everything. It retails at £17.99 here in the UK, and it all fits into just 1.1 gig. Despite a few misgivings, it's a really enjoyable time and something you could come back to time and time again. Cozy fans will certainly get their money's worth. I give value 17 out of 20. If you feel Tom Nook needs a book, then this one may be for you. Tiny BookShop gets a SwitchUp score of 78%. Have you been playing this one? I know a lot of you probably have, because it's right at the top of the eShop. Let me know down in the comments, so thanks to all of you that enjoy the content. And as always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!